And we're back.
Good job! I'm Rita.
I'm Tyler.
And this is Wild Ride.
Yes. And it's a special day today.
It is a special day.
Oh, we forgot to honk.
Oh. It's our day.
It's our day. And by our day, every girl on the planet.
Every girl and woman.
Girl Power Day. That's why we're here.
It's International Women's Day. And even though Google and someone else decided to, I think it was Apple actually, decided to take it off the calendar.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're still celebrating, as should you.
It is a fantastic day to celebrate. So for any women you know, buy them some flowers, give them a hug, or don't. Do something for them.
Yeah. Do some small acts of feminism or, whatever.
Show them
strikes
love.
you. Yeah. It's really awful, not having the federal government, recognize it and, big companies taking off their calendar because, as we know, and as you probably know, women still have a long ways to go.
Mm-hmm. And by long ways to go, do you want to explain?
Yeah, there's still a lot of sexism and misogyny in the world. Women are still making far less than men for a large variety of reasons. Women are still oftentimes in pretty inequitable relationships when it comes to mental load and the workload and child rearing and all of those things. It's also much more dangerous to be a woman. It's, in a lot of ways, violence from men, as well as, in clinical settings.
Mm-hmm.
Women have less good outcomes.
And, what we were talking about, even just studies done on women, health studies.
Yeah.
We were was it ADHD or something? There wasn't much clinical studies done on women.
And autism, and also quote unquote women's health issues, menstrual cycles and tampons and PCOS and all those kind of things are severely under researched.
Just the fact that we're now learning, not just now, but that tampons are so harmful for your body, but yet that's what women have been using for so long because there's been nothing else created.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
Yeah, it's a real big bummer.
Yeah.
And there's so many things, obviously we can't name them all, but we're in a car because this is a wild ride.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying not to say the in front of it, and it's really hard. That's why I keep pausing. But car studies, still are not required to include women. And obviously women's bodies are built differently than men. So, seatbelts and stuff are not as safe for us as they are for men.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, fantastic.
But on the positive side, we have been changing history a lot lately and rewriting some things.
Yeah.
And, there have been some really cool women things, especially, women's sports, I've been paying a close attention to and following. And, just even basketball, we know, with Caitlin Clark and all the upcoming college athletes who are now taking the WNBA to, a whole nother level that we never imagined would be.
And the hockey league now,
yes,
that's really cool too. I'm not a huge sports person, so honestly, I don't follow men or women's sports, so I'm not, but I know hockey's been getting a lot of traction too.
Yeah, because the PWLF, I think it is, the Frost team, the Minnesota Frost team is the women's.
That's kind of a cool name, Frost.
It is, and
it.
It's purple. Love it. It's pretty cool.
That's your favorite color.
But yeah, they won last year. I don't know what you call it. I forget. I always want to say state, but I know it's not state. playoffs, championship. They won the championship. That's it.
Oh, cool.
But like the hockey one is so small still.
Yeah.
But it's growing, and even just like the WNBA, especially with the female coaches, like the coaches are doing amazing things. Or like talking about like Jalen Hurts, he's the quarterback of the Super Bowl team that won. His whole
management team
is all women.
Yep, I saw that.
And just like how much, for one, like that shows like his respect towards them, and like where it's taken him.
Yeah. Like
that shows in his performance and in his achievements and stuff. Yeah. Really cool.
And one thing I want to say when we're saying like it's International Women's Day, we mean that very like inclusively. Like a trans woman, a woman, gay, whatever. Whatever. If you identify as a woman, today's your day. And I also think something that I've seen talked about a lot from like other marginalized communities, like communities of color, or like LGBTQ plus people, like trans people, is we need, if anyone's oppressed, like we're all oppressed, and we're all going to suffer under that system. So we need to make sure that we're like uplifting all voices and being inclusive and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Like our president, I think it was in his State of the Union, was like going on and on about how this trans athlete like beat this record for like by 5 hours or something, and it's like this extreme sport of like you like bike part of it, and then you have to carry your bike, and it's like the races last like 24 time. Plus hours or whatever, so like beating it by 5 hours like wasn't actually that crazy. And also it's a men and women's sport like together, so the fact that they were trans like
doesn't
even go to his point that like trans athletes can't be with women, whatever, all that stupid stuff. But she took that like little 15 minutes that like the spotlight was on her to talk about how like we need to respect women and women's sports, and like she could have taken that moment and just been like, oh, trans, and like use the spotlight just for like the thing that like specifically affects her. But she like put like all women up on a pedestal and like all that, so that was really cool.
And like truthfully, like just obviously like having Kamala Harris like be vice president and run for president, like that was huge for all of us, and for just women in general, of like opening opportunities. But I think sports has just like really been a big factor in pushing women. Like I just feel like that's kind of the big thing that might lead us to more rights and equality lately, just because how much money is put into it, maybe in addition to.
And there's also been a lot of things happening in like the Hollywood sphere. Like there's been a lot more like female artists like winning award, as well as like more women directing and that kind of stuff. We kind of started watching it together, but Mindy Kaling
I started watching it again.
Oh, did you? Has a new show that she's producing with like Kate Hudson as the lead. Yes. And it like breaks.
It is so good.
It breaks so many boundaries, because first of all, it's a show like she becomes like the president of a basketball, like a big basketball team, whatever. I don't know anything about sports. But it's a show like about sports for women that is showing not only like a woman heading up this team and honestly doing a really good job at it, also an older woman.
Yeah.
Like Kate Hudson is not like who Hollywood casts as like leads anymore because of her age, but like she's killing it. I love all of her outfits. And
just like the perspective, perspective of like it's a family owned business, in the sense where like her dad owned the team, and then her brothers helped run and do all that, and like how they didn't necessarily have faith in her at times and all this stuff, and like they're her family. Like,
Yeah.
it just shows, like, all the different people who may criticize you for being a woman trying to do something that, quote-unquote, a man should do.
Yeah. So that's really cool. And, like, I think it was at the Grammys, like, it was all women performers.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that's so cool to see.
Yeah.
And that's one of my small acts of feminism is I majority listen to women artists and, like, try and read books written by women and try and watch things, like, produced with women and that have a lot of, like, women actors in it. For one, I think it's just a good way to boost women up and, like, all that kind of thing. But also, like, the reason why we want women also in these spaces is because I relate to them more.
And I think people get such a wrong, like, connotation against, like, we relate to them. Like, we just want women in these places because we relate and, like, we want it easier or something. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of bad connotation with it, but, like, women are smart. Mm-hmm. Women are so smart, and that's why. Like, they can write a story or write a book in a way that no man ever could because of the experiences that these women have gone through.
And it makes men upset because they have been brought up in a world where everything has been catered to their point of view. Like, even, like, I really enjoyed Marvel movies, and they've had a lot more things with, like, more women involved and, like, the writing process and, like, more women leads in them. And I've had conversations with some men, like, watching these, and they're like, oh, those, like, the one with, why am I blanking on all of their names? All of, like, the ones with, like, women leads, they're like, oh, that one's just not my favorite. I'm like, why is it not your favorite?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, really try and make them confront the fact that, like, oh, because it wasn't made for me only.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you could still enjoy it and still really like it, but, like, you have to get past the sexism.
Yeah. And I think that's what I feel like we do a good job at, I should say, like, looking at other people's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, yeah, we can watch or listen to music or whatever created by guys, but can we not even put ourselves in their shoes, but, like, understand that their perspective is going to be different.
Yeah.
And, like, how to learn from it or what we can take away from it.
And I don't hate men. I just want things to be more equitable.
Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing.
And that's all I want. That's all I need. Do you have any, like,
just a girl.
Do you have any, like, small acts of feminism?
Girl power.
Oh dear.
I don't know. I feel like if I do it, it's very, not very, I should say, like, subconsciously.
Okay.
I don't know how intentional I have been with it. I feel like I try to stay up to date on a lot of women culture stuff.
Okay.
Around, sports, the arts, different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you say you're very, not like you.
Well,
I can't think of a different way.
Yeah, no, I think we certainly do it in different ways, and I also think, like, you're newer in some of this stuff, like, you haven't learned as much about it as I have, which, for one thing, you're younger, and second, I think that's probably the biggest thing. Is,
like, just not, experience.
Mm-hmm.
Just even in, like, life, like, having to experience sexism, almost.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I know I certainly have. One small thing that I do that I think you should also start doing is when you say, like, a hetero couple, like a man and a woman, you always say the woman's name first. Because it used to be, like, you had to say the man's name first, like, whatever. No, I always say the woman's name first.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And, like, sometimes people will, like, they're so entrenched in it, they're like, oh, no, but it sounds better the other way, and it's like, no, it doesn't actually. But that's just my personality, so.
Yeah. Okay, this kind of seems like a little feminist thing that I did is, and maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong, but, like, when I was a teacher, when I I am a teacher. When I was teaching, I always wanted to go by my first name, like Miss Taylor.
Yeah.
And people were saying that I couldn't do that, and like I had to go by my last name. And for me, that's like very old school for one, but like it's very authority and like disciplinary, and like I don't think it's just feminism, but I do think like there is what am I trying to say, like hierarchy with it.
Yeah. No, I love that, and I love that you did that. You kind of turned me around on that. No, I like that. I had a boss once at a school who referred to everyone as Miss. Like, she never did Mrs. And I love that. Like, I never want to be a Mrs. Like, it's just, like, Mr. Like, no matter what, he's a Mr. Like, why does ours have to change?
Yep.
It should always just be Miss.
I agree, yeah. And it's just, like, something that people don't even think about or question. That's what I was experiencing, like, when I tried to go by my first name versus my last name. Like, people were like, what? Why would you do that? That's not what we do. And I'm like, well, it's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And, like, there's no reason. Like, no one ever had a reason for not being able to do it. Like, that was the funny thing.
If the reason for something is because, we've always done it like that, then maybe you need to question it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it is okay. Maybe it is fine. But, like, dig into it a little bit. For sure.
I agree.
Do you have any women that are inspiring to you?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many women who are inspiring.
I know. Who are some of your, like, tops?
Obviously, Taylor Swift.
Obviously,
Kamala Harris. I mean, name some of yours. I'm going to think of a few more of mine.
A big one for me is Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
And I know she's not perfect, but I think that's something we need to get rid of. Like, someone to be, like, inspirational and, like, all those kind of things, they don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
We often hold women to higher standards than men, and I refuse to do that. My grandma, like, loves her and adores her and has, like, followed her whole career. And so I just, like, know a lot about her and the things that she's, like, gone through. And I think she's super inspirational. I mean, just dig into her. She's really cool. I also really like Elizabeth Warren. She has a very cool story, and I love how she talks about, she didn't do anything by herself. Like, she talks about, like, her Aunt Bee and, like, all these people who got her to where she is now. And I think that's really cool, like, acknowledging, like, we can't do anything by ourselves. Like, we have to have our people, and her people happen to be, like, a lot of strong women, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Who else do I really like?
The one I was thinking of was Issa Rae, and she's in quite a few, stars in quite a few shows and movies, but the one I'm thinking of is Insecure, which is a great show. It's, like, such a fun show to just binge or casually watch, and she wrote it, produced it, and then stars in it.
Yeah.
And I just think that's so cool, and she does such a great job, for one, and just being able to, like, put on all those hats and tell a great story and just do a great job is really cool.
Another one I'm thinking of is Martha Stewart.
Okay.
She's kind of having, like, a resurgence right now, and she had, like, a documentary come out on Netflix, and I watched it, and my initial reaction was like, ooh, she's kind of a B-word. And I was like, I don't like that. And then I took some time to process it and step back, and I was like, ooh, my misogyny's showing through. And I think it goes back to what I first said. Like, she's not a perfect person. She absolutely isn't. Like, she's made some big mistakes, and I think she could probably really use some help with emotions. But I think what she did in business and, like, making a market for women was really incredible. And I think a lot of women, like, in the lifestyle world, like, should really, like, look up to her and thank her for the path that she paved for them.
I was just gonna say, like, even, like, bringing it, like, smaller now, like, all the women-owned brands and companies, like, I just saw, like, some woman just, I think, like, purchased, like, some soccer team, or some like, major league men's sports team. And it's, like, that's so cool, like,
Yeah.
that's starting to happen, and it's not just gonna be, like, male dominant in different things, and just with businesses and products.
Yeah.
Like, there's tampons made by women now who we know and trust that we're not gonna insert chemicals or food or just little things like that.
Another person I'm thinking of is Serena Williams. She was always, like, a very fierce competitor on the tennis court, and I mean, it was a combo of, like, sexism and racism, because also, like, she's a black woman, so she had that on top of it. But, like, her competitiveness was always seen as, like, aggressive, and it wasn't. She remained a lot calmer on the court than any of the top 100 men tennis players. And
isn't that insane?
And she, like, played until she was a lot older than any other woman had done before. She also talked a lot about postpartum stuff after she had her child, and I think that was amazing too.
And that's something big that's been upcoming in the past 10 years of, like, actually talking about, I mean, feelings in general, but, like, the postpartum stories and how people deal with it and need help dealing with it.
Yeah.
It's wild. Can we talk about how Serena Williams' amazing crip walk?
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
That was a halftime show. Yeah. In my personal life, two women I would say I really look up to. One is my mom. I mean, probably a lot of people say that, but for a lot of reasons, but one of them was she kind of started her, like, career and her passion when I was in college. So she was in her 40s before she, in a way it's kind of sad, but it's also, like, super empowering to be like, you can be 40 and, like, totally change what you're doing with your life. And I think that's really cool, and having her face the challenges that she has, and it's just really cool to me. Another one would be my grandma. She did so much for her family, and the way my grandpa, like, talks about her and is, like, so thankful for the things, like, she did. Like, she stopped teaching for a little while to, like, help, like, raise the children, and he's like, yeah, if she wouldn't have done that, like, I don't know what we would have done. And, like, he's like, I feel so bad that she had to do that, but, like, all the things. And yeah, she's just an incredible person. She's the one who loves Hillary Clinton.
Okay, yeah. Just a little cutie. Yeah, I would say a few. My grandma, she has passed away now, but she was a very influential person in my life, like, just kind of in the aspect of just loving everyone. Like, she was a stay-at-home mom for a lot of her life, just doing, like, little side jobs or, like, sewing things or that type of stuff. And, like, the most I remember about her was just, like, her loving, joyful energy towards absolutely everyone, and like, everyone at every moment, just always giving and sharing her love, like, literally open arms with hugs or whatever you needed. And I think, like, that's definitely something that I've taken away from her and hope to continue and pass on, because yeah, we just need love in the world, women and men. But yeah, definitely her. And then the other woman I was thinking of is my mentor, who has now become a great friend of mine. But I mean, I think like once a mentor, always a mentor. Like she mentored me in teaching, but it was more than teaching. Like it was, and I mean, we know this, like teaching is more than a job, or I say that a lot. Like I think it's kind of like a way of life with how you teach. It's how to be kind to people and how to raise good people and encourage people to be good people. Like it doesn't matter their age at this point. Like so she just gave me a lot of great advice, a lot of great tips and things on how to set boundaries on myself and with others, and just always noticing when I need something and being there. And yeah, just a great woman to other women and just a great role model. So
yeah,
happy to have a friend like her. And yeah, encourage people to find close girlfriends.
Yeah,
because the friendships that you can have, like we talk about ours all the time, is crazy. Like our friendship is so strong and so amazing. Like we could never find this with a man.
No.
Which is sad, but like I feel like I've learned to like appreciate it even more.
Yeah.
So
no. Well, and I would say you're inspirational to me too.
Yeah.
Like the way you are so open with all of your mental health struggles has definitely helped me to be more open. And like, you know, life just always throwing shit and you just keep going, and I think that's amazing. You've
inspired me or taught me how to, I think, like, be a better friend in a sense. Like, I don't even know if you, like, I know you're not doing it on purpose, but like how great of a friend you are to me, and like checking in on me or doing these things for me, it like makes me value our friendship even more, but shows me like how great a friend you are, and pushes and forces me to want to be a good friend and like to you and to others. So yeah,
that's great.
Girl power.
We got some mushy.
We love it. I love girls.
Me too. I love girls.
Girls are amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're looking for something to do on the International Women's Day, if you know of like a tattoo place and you're feeling impulsive, like girl power on the right butt cheek sounds like a great tattoo option for you. Highly recommend.
Yeah. Why?
Just a thought.
Oh, okay.
It's just a casual thought.
Yeah. Would you do it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I'll go with you if you want.
Yeah. Oh, can we also shout out all the women who have said such amazing things to us about this podcast?
Yes. Every time we go on our little hiatus.
Yeah. And we come back.
I use that word.
Yeah. Good job.
Every time we come back, we just get such great feedback.
Yeah.
And it feels so good.
And it's just like people, like sometimes it's close people, sometimes it's people we haven't talked to in forever.
Or like people even we know who are like our active listeners, like reaching out. For one, asking where we are, like why we haven't posted. Like
are
checking
you okay?
In. Like, where are you?
Fine.
But also just like the sweet messages.
Yeah.
And it feels so good to know that people relate to us, for one. Like, that's where I think the connection is really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So sweet.
It just feels good to be
lifted up
and understood, and lifted up for sure.
Because we kind of started this podcast because Rita and I would always have conversations, and I think we felt like it was just us, or like, I think we know it wasn't just us, but we were like, it always felt like.
And it also just feels like sometimes like the conversations we were having we weren't hearing anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
And we just, it's cool to see that other people are relating to it, or whatever the case may be.
So, thanks everyone for sweet messages. We, like, I know we personally thank you when you send us a message, but just to show it on the podcast, like, thank you so much.
It makes us
It's so
tear
meaningful.
up.
Oh my gosh, yes it does.
It's really sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, what a wild ride.
Wild ride.
Safe.
Well, I forget how we end it. We have to figure that out.
Well, I think you say safe travels.
Safe travels.
And then I'm just awkward.
I think we're supposed to say bye. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Safe travels.
Buckle up.
Girl power.